What is up, my friends? Welcome to Flippin' Bats live from the field of the World Series in Toronto, where it all just wrapped up. And look, I need to start by saying this. This was my favorite World Series I've ever covered. This was the greatest World Series that I can remember ever watching. And every single game just felt incredible, and it all led up to tonight in Game 7, where the Los Angeles Dodgers come out on top and become back-to-back World Series champions for the first time. It hasn't happened in baseball in a quarter of a century, for the first time since 2000, when the New York Yankees did it in 1998, 99, and 2000. Let's talk about this World Series. Toronto. Absolutely incredible for it to start here and end here. What an incredible place, what an incredible atmosphere. And I just felt like every game of this World Series provided something different. But it really started ramping up when we got back here. Game 6 and 7 were absolutely incredible, and it all led up to tonight. Extra innings. Miguel Rojas ties it up with a homer late in the game in the 9th inning. They were 2 outs away. The Toronto Blue Jays were 2 outs away from winning the World Series here at home in a Game 7, and they end up not holding on. Miguel Rojas. It all comes down to the 9th inning. Shohei Ohtani down a run, was coming up third. That was the talk. Can Shohei tie it? Well, Miguel Rojas was the hero here tonight. Another hero, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So there's a million things I can talk about. 1, this World Series was incredible. 2, World Series MVP Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Let's talk about him. This guy is an absolute dog. Are you kidding me? I hope every single person watching and listening understands what Yoshinobu Yamamoto just did. 1 night removed, on 0 days rest, 96 pitches to win Game 6 for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then comes back out, Game 7, apparently everybody's on deck besides probably Yamamoto. He goes in after the game and says, I want it. Give me the ball. And then he comes out tonight. You see him warming up in the bullpen. They tie the game, and then he comes in. And I'm just in shock. For this man, I can't stress enough how impressive it is what Yoshinobu Yamamoto did. To see him warming up in the bullpen and then come in the game and throwing over 97 miles an hour and shutting the door for the Dodgers. He threw 3 clean innings en route to picking up the win and World Series MVP here tonight. The atmosphere here is still incredible in the stadium with the Dodgers fans that stuck around, Dodgers and families still on the field. We got a lot to talk about this episode, a lot to run through, a lot of interviews we just got. I caught up with Freddie Freeman's dad to ask him what this moment was like, winning a World Series back in Canada. Caught up with Tyler Glasnow, first ever guest of the Flippin' Bats podcast, by the way. And then I caught up with Robert Van Scoyoc, who's the hitting coach here for the Dodgers. Talked to him the other day, and he said, I really like our game plan these next couple days. Well, that turned out to be true. Talked to him, got a bunch of interviews coming up for you. But really, I just can't stress enough how, how much I love the game of baseball. This was remarkable, and to see the Dodgers do it here, back-to-back games, Game 6 and Game 7, okay? There's only been 9 teams ever that have gone back on the road in a Game 6 and a Game 7 to win both of those to win the World Series. This one, the 2025 Dodgers. The last one was the 2019 Washington Nationals against the Houston Astros. The one before that, the 2016 Chicago Cubs. And then before that, the 1979 Pittsburgh Pirates. It goes way back. The Dodgers here to go back-to-back when, look, they didn't hit great. They didn't have their best stuff this series, I wouldn't say. The Blue Jays deserve so much credit. We're going to get to the Blue Jays in a little while because I fell in love with this team here in Toronto. I fell in love with the city of Toronto, with Caesars, with poutine, and with the Toronto Blue Jays. We're going to talk about them in a second. This Dodgers team to go back-to-back with all of the stuff that they have been through all year, a lot of injuries, this team was built to win in October. Everything they do was built to get to this moment and be right here raising the trophy. And I thought it wasn't going to happen, if I'm being honest. Coming back here for Game 6 and Game 7, the Blue Jays had plenty of chances to win the game here tonight, and then for it to turn out the way it did. Every single play here from like the 6th inning on just felt like it was so tense. Shout out Miguel Rojas for the plays he has made here the last couple of nights. Game 6, the ball that ends the game to Kike Hernandez. Obviously, a lot of credit goes to Kike there, but the play Miguel Rojas made at second base with the scoop on that short hop to end the game, remarkable. I don't think there's many other second basemen that are making that play. And then here tonight, that play on the ball up the middle, you could turn a double play to end the inning, but no, with the game on the line, the Blue Jays could have won the World Series. He makes a beautiful backhanded play and then throws it home to get the winning run out at the plate. Miguel Rojas also hits the game-tying homer. He was certainly a hero of this series for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Got to catch up with the first ever guest on the Flippin' Bats podcast, which was Tyler Glasnow, and I talked to him. He talked about Miguel Rojas and that homer and some of the plays he made, and it was really fascinating hearing him talk about the teammate that Miguel Rojas is. And I obviously had to ask him what it was like pitching in back-to-back days in a big league game in the World Series. So let's talk to Tyler Glasnow now. Back-to-back days pitching in a big league game. When's the last time that happened for you?
I don't think I've ever pitched back-to-back days. I'm glad Dave leaned on me. I'm so excited. It just means so much to participate, especially not being able to last year. And just with this group of guys, it means everything.
What does it? You didn't participate last year in the World Series. Now you're here pitching in Game 6 and Game 7. Where were the emotions at? Where are your emotions right now?
It's crazy. I think you just have these underlying up and down feelings, but I think it's like if you just really rely on your preparation and don't try to think of it too much, and you're just in there, you just lock in and you feel good. And then when I'm done, when I got done today, sitting in then it's all up and down. I'm out of control. I'm not involved doing anything, and it's so much more emotional when you're not really doing anything. So just to sit as a fan, that was the most insane game I've ever been a part of.
So when Miggy Rojas hit that homer, what was the reaction?
Dude, just my brain was going crazy. He's such an amazing teammate. That's the perfect guy to do it. Like, he's the glue of our clubhouse. He's the mic guy. He's one of the best teammates I've ever had. Just to see that, it was storybook. It was crazy.
Last one for you. If you could describe this series in one way, how would you possibly do it?
I don't know. Just incredible. Like one of the most storybook games series I've ever been a part of. I think anyone's ever seen. So, and props to the Blue Jays. That team is incredible. The offense is insane. Everyone stepped up. I think that's a phenomenal team.
Congrats, man.
Thank you very much, dude. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mom, for you, man.
All right, thanks to Tyler for joining us. Fresh off of a World Series victory. And it was really cool to hear him talk about, look, yes, back-to-back World Series championships, but I wasn't a part of it last year. You know, I was injured. I was hurt. I wasn't as much of a part of it. Well, you can't be much more of a part of it than this year to pitch in a Game 6 and come in and throw 3 pitches and get out of the biggest jam possible. And then in a Game 7 to come in and throw a couple innings and to get himself in some trouble and then get out of trouble, and he was fantastic. I thought Tyler Glasnow was incredible. The starting pitching is the reason the Los Angeles Dodgers are here right now. They didn't hit. They did not hit great. Those couple of games when the series shifted back to LA they ended up winning the 18-inning marathon, but from the 9th inning through the 18th inning, they couldn't score. In Game 4 and Game 5, the offense kind of went silent. And I wouldn't say they were firing on all cylinders here, but the starting pitching is what kept them in this. And I absolutely love that Yoshinobu Yamamoto was the World Series MVP, because of course it should go to a pitcher for this Dodgers team. The offense wasn't quite there. But I will say, we get back here, series gets here, talk to Robert Van Scoyoc, Dodgers hitting coach, before Game 6, and just said, how are you feeling? Backs are against the wall. How are you feeling, man? And again, Robert Van Scoyoc was my hitting coach coming up through my last year of the minor leagues. And to catch up with him and hear him say, I think we're going to win this. I love our game plan the next couple of nights against their starters. I really feel good about what we're going to do. So they win the World Series. He was right. Called up with him and asked, all right, you got to tell me, why'd you feel so confident? What was it about the game plan? Caught up to him. Here that is now. Here with my guy, Robert Van Scoyoc, my former hitting coach, by the way. We talked 2 days ago, and you said you loved the approach and the game plan you had for the next 2 days. And here we are with you, World Series champions. What was that approach? What was the game plan?
It just felt like we knew how they were going to pivot, and we kind of had contingencies in place just for whatever their plan was going to be. So just felt really good about it, felt very confident in it, and it worked out.
Back-to-back World Series champions. How's that feel?
Unbelievable. I mean, that was an unbelievable game, and we had a few guys step up. I mean, it's pretty surreal.
If you could describe this series How would you do it?
Absolute just bloodbath. Absolute war out there, and those guys left it all out there.
Thanks, buddy. So proud of you, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, thanks, Robert, for joining us as well. Fresh off a World Series victory. It was the pitching. The offense did just enough here in the final couple games. It was the pitching that did it. It was Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the World Series MVP. A dominant first start, a dominant second start, and then here we are, him pitching in a Game 7. You just don't see that much anymore. And I can't tell you how much it fires me up. I had goosebumps when he was coming in. How much it fires me up to see a guy that just came over from Japan. This is his second season in Major League Baseball, and I really feel like his personality came out this year, and just how good he is came out this year. And for him to say in this moment, give me the ball. There's a language barrier, right? He doesn't speak English, but it's a universal language. Give me the ball. I want the ball. I want to win. Give it to me. For him to come out and throw 3 innings tonight is one of the coolest things that I've ever gotten to see in person, what he did here. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, World Series MVP, absolutely incredible, and the Los Angeles Dodgers go back-to-back for the first time in a quarter of a century. Toronto Blue Jays on the losing end of this. Let me say this about the Blue Jays, Toronto as a whole. I've loved this place. I have loved Toronto, and I've fallen in love with this Toronto Blue Jays team. It's a hard team not to. This is a team just full of a bunch of guys that are trying to grow sick mustaches, sleeping on each other's pull-out couches, buying their gloves off of eBay. Ernie Clement's third base, the glove he uses was bought off of eBay. This is just a bunch of dudes being dudes playing good baseball. And you know what? I felt like for so much of this series that they were actually the better team. But they blew it down the stretch here. I thought they had multiple chances to get it done. Especially here in Game 7, early in the game, you get guys on in the first, you don't score, you load the bases in the second, you don't score, bases loaded late in the game, you don't score, multiple opportunities late in the game, first and third in the final inning, double play ends the game, so many chances, but I can't say enough positive things about this Blue Jays team. I think they're here to stay. I think this team is legit. I think they are a bona fide team. I loved watching these guys. I loved watching the way they go about things. Ernie Clement, the most hits of all time in a single postseason. Why were the Toronto Blue Jays the team that scored the most runs in a postseason run in MLB history? Well, I can point to one person and say why. Ernie Clement has the most hits in a single postseason in Major League Baseball history, and he bats 7th or 8th for this Blue Jays team. That just shows you how deep they are. This was the perfect team to match up with the Dodgers, and what we got was, I think, the greatest. Look, I'm a very here, now, in the moment sort of guy. This is the greatest postseason I've ever seen. And this was the greatest game I've ever seen. This is the greatest Game 7, certainly, of all time, maybe I can't say of all time because I haven't done the research yet. Greatest Game 7 ever, greatest World Series ever, and this was just two teams that do things completely differently going at it. The Los Angeles Dodgers with their starting pitching and the Toronto Blue Jays with their offense and Vladimir Guerrero and their offensive approach. And what we have here, and I know a lot of people talked about it before this series and before this season really, in the Los Angeles Dodgers and how they pay for their players and it's not great for baseball. Well, hold on a second, because the Blue Jays had the number 3 payroll in baseball. Dodgers had the number 1 payroll in baseball, and here we sit today, and I don't think there's many of you out there that would argue that this was the greatest postseason we've ever seen. And this Game 7 was the greatest postseason game that we've ever seen. And the Toronto Blue Jays were absolutely capable of beating the Los Angeles Dodgers. I thought they did many things better than the Los Angeles Dodgers. I just thought down the stretch they weren't able to get it done. But I fell in love with this team. I have a couple of new favorite players. Ernie Clement's a favorite player of mine. Addison Barger, the dude has one speed, and it's just gas. One speed for Addison Barger. The dude just goes hard. And that's this entire team. So right now, man, I feel crushed for Toronto. I feel crushed for the Toronto Blue Jays. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the whole team, the whole city. This place was magical during this playoff run. And I hope they still look back on this, and obviously right now it's tough to look back and say, what a great year. You're not doing that. But I hope you look back on this and say, man, what a magical run, what a magical team, because this city deserves so much credit. This place was so loud, louder than Dodger Stadium, one of the loudest stadiums that I've ever heard in the playoffs, certainly that I've ever heard in the World Series. This place was awesome. The fan base was awesome. I fell in love with this city. I started tweeting maybe too much about Toronto and about Caesars and about poutine, but I'll tell you what, every single point was absolutely genuine. I can't speak highly enough about the city of Toronto and this World Series and how much fun I had here. So, man, oh man, this was awesome. And Dodgers end up winning. So many storylines here. Freddie Freeman, his third World Series. And, you know, after the game, all the guys, I'm out here looking around for who I can talk to, and all the guys go in and start celebrating, and I saw Freddie Freeman's father just standing around, soaking it all in, and I had to go up to him and talk to him. And one, just ask him if it was okay to talk to him and ask him a couple questions. And he said, you know what? I watch your show. I watch Flippin' Bats. I've seen it before. I'm a big fan. And I said, you know what? I'm a big fan of your son. I'm a big fan of the Freeman family. And I would love to ask you a couple questions if you can. Freddie Freeman wins a World Series back in Canada, a place that both of his parents, his father that I talked to here and his mother that passed away when he was 10 years old, both of them are from Canada. His mother that passed away is from Toronto. So I just had to ask his dad what all of this means. So let's talk to Mr. Freeman right now. I'm here with Freddie Freeman's father, and my first question for you, 3 World Series, back-to-back World Series. How special is it to see your son win his 3rd World Series?
It's amazing that he can do something like that. You know, when he won the first one with Braves, I thought that was the culmination of his whole career. Now 2 more. It's like, how many more can we get?
Yeah.
So.
This one, back in Canada, to win it in Canada, both you and his mother are from here.
Right.
Does that make this one extra special?
I think so. Rosemary, his mom, was born in Toronto. I was born in Windsor. And so I met her when I was 15. We got married at 21. And I used to come and visit her every winter and hang out in the city while she worked.
Wow.
So it's a great experience to be back here.
I know Freddie was talking about it. I talked to him the day before the World Series started, and he said, anytime anybody's talking about Rosemary Freeman, it's a good day. And he was getting a little emotional. And you think he's going to be a little emotional about this one?
Very. He's pretty emotional to start with. And throwing his mom, he can't keep it together.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to Freddie Freeman's father again for joining me here on this show and taking some time after Freddie wins his 3rd World Series. It's really cool to hear him say that after he won that first one with Atlanta. Man, this is the ultimate moment of his career. How special. And it is. To win a World Series is insane. And now we're here winning his 3rd and back-to-back. And, man, I can't say enough about the career Freddie Freeman's had, the year he had here with all the obstacles, and still playing injured from an ankle injury that happened last year, and just going through everything he went through this year and just grinding it out. And to win another one was really special. This Dodgers team, they're special. This is a special team. Obviously, you have the greatest player of all time in Shohei Ohtani, having a fantastic series, getting on base 9 times in Game 3, a postseason record. 5 intentional walks, a couple of homers, a couple extra base hits. He was fantastic. He ended up hitting 8 homers in the postseason. He was incredible. He was clutch. He was everything you want your superstar to be. And now I look back on this series and think, man, how special for Japan to watch this series and think, man, the Los Angeles Dodgers are not winning the World Series if it weren't for our guys. Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, World Series MVP, and Roki Sasaki. I don't think the Dodgers are here if it wasn't for Roki Sasaki figuring it out in the bullpen, because the Dodgers had a bullpen problem. The Dodgers had a big problem in the bullpen. And Roki Sasaki comes back up and says, you know what? I got it. I'll go into the bullpen. And he was lights out for the Dodgers throughout the postseason. And I don't think they even get here if it weren't for what he did against the Phillies in the DS round and closing out those games. So I think all of Japan watching this series should be incredibly proud of your guys saying, man, Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Roki Sasaki, what a special group of guys. To see them celebrate afterwards together, to see them take their moments after, especially after that game 3, the 18-inning marathon. Freddie hits that walk-off, and then they all go down the line together and celebrate. It was just really cool and really special for the Los Angeles Dodgers to go back-to-back. Man, what a World Series. I will wrap up by saying this. One, thank you to Toronto for being the most incredible host of the World Series. Thank you to Toronto for making me fall in love with the city, this stadium, this team, the fans. I fell in love with this place. And then to get what I think might be the greatest World Series of all time, for it to go to a Game 7, the first Game 7 since 2019, for sure the greatest Game 7 ever, to go into extras, and then for it to have the drama that it did and the incredible plays all game long and the bang-bang plays. Thank you to baseball for giving us this series. I love the game of baseball more than I would put myself up against anybody. I love the game of baseball so much. Thank you to the game of baseball for giving us this series. Thank you to the Toronto Blue Jays and the city of Toronto for giving us this incredible city and this incredible atmosphere for the game to end at. I fell in love with this place. I've fallen even more in love with the game of baseball. And man, I can't say enough about what we just witnessed here. Thank you all year long for watching or listening or wherever you do. I've loved this year. I said it from day one of the 2025 season. 2025 is the year of Flippin' Bats. And to sit here on the field following maybe the greatest Game 7 of the World Series in the history of baseball, and to be able to sign off saying, man, I fell in love with this place I'm talking to you from, and what a series this was. I just feel so grateful to be able to do this, and so grateful to every single one of you that watches and listens and watches on social media. It truly means the world. So thank you to every single one of you. What a series, what a game. The Los Angeles Dodgers are back-to-back champions, 2024 and 2025, and man, did they do it completely differently than they did last year. That does it for me here in Toronto. Thank you all. Obviously, episodes coming throughout the offseason, going to keep this going, but man, this is the last episode of the season, and I can't quite believe it. Thank you all. Love you guys. I'm going to go take my signature photo out there in the outfield with the scoreboard in the background to post on social media. I love you guys. What a 2025. Dodgers are champions. Thank you, Toronto. I love you, Toronto. I love Caesars. I love poutine. I love the Toronto Blue Jays. And I love Canada. What a World Series. Love you guys. Until next time, remember, find your bat and flip it. Peace.